If I sound rude, it's because I've got a world to save.
Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're breaking down how to play Ryze in the mid lane for Wild Rift. Ryze has a bit of a learning curve with his spell mechanics, but once you get the hang of it, he's super fun to play. His passive, Arcane Mastery, turns bonus mana into extra damage, while his AP bumps up his max mana. So, if you stack mana items like RoA and Seraphs, his damage scales infinitely, making him an absolute monster with insane sustained DPS in late-game teamfights. The best part about Ryze is his crazy spell synergy. You hit M with E for Flux, and follow up with Q for extra bounce damage, or W for a root. Using W or E resets your Q, so you can just machine gun spells back to back. His wave clear is top tier, meaning you can shove and roam for free, or just chill and farm. Honestly, his trading potential early game is low-key disgusting if you know the combos. People who main him know his early damage catches so many opponents off guard. The macro value of his ULT, Realm Warp, is insane. It's a massive utility tool that lets you warp the whole squad anywhere on the map. You can use it for roaming, flexing to side lanes, clutch teamfight positioning, or just a get-out-of-jail-free card. It opens up so much weird, unpredictable map pressure, and as a cherry on top, your basic cooldowns get instantly reset after the teleport. Thanks to low cooldowns and the MS buff at 2 Q stacks, Ryze is an absolute menace in extended skirmishes. The moment an enemy steps out of line, you lock them down with W, dump your entire combo, and just vaporize them. Ryze usually sits comfortably in A to S tier, but since his pick rate is pretty low, he's low-key a sleeper OP pick that people don't know how to deal with. His win rate generally hovers around a solid 50 to 52%. That said, Ryze definitely has his weak spots. He's pretty weak early game, so don't force kills. Just focus on farming and taking safe trades. Assassins and burst champs will ruin his day, so you're gonna need a Stasis enchantment. On top of that, he's super hard to play if your team has zero frontline. Ryze mid is a champion who survives the early game, scales up, and carries through mid-game macro with his ULT and late-game sustained damage. Once you master mana management, combo accuracy, and ULT usage, the longer the game goes, the stronger he becomes. Now, let's take a detailed look at Ryze's skills. Ryze's passive, Arcane Mastery, his max mana increases based on his AP, roughly 10% for every 100 AP, and all of his basic spells deal extra damage that scales with his bonus mana dot. Stacking mana items like RoA and Seraphs is the absolute backbone of Ryze's late-game scaling. The more you build, the harder he hits. Early game, mana management is everything. If you mindless spam, you're just and useless. But once you hit late game, you're basically slinging spells non-stop with infinite mana. Ryze's Q, Overload. Passive. Using W or E resets Q's cooldown and charges a rune up to 2 stacks, lasting 4 seconds. Active. Fires a shockwave in a line, dealing magic damage to the first enemy hit. If the target has Flux, it consumes it to deal 25% bonus damage and bounces to nearby enemies with Flux. Casting Q with 2 runes charged grants a movement speed buff for 2 seconds, Runic Haste.
Despair.
Since Q is a skill shot, you gotta actually aim that thing. Otherwise you'll just with completely unlike what you see in the clips, LMAO. Hit M with E for Flux, then immediately send a Q. This is your bread and butter high damage trade. Plus, the bounce makes it super easy to poke enemies, even when they're hiding behind minions. Just drop an E on the wave and machine gun your QS, and you'll vaporize minion waves in seconds. Once you hard shove, you're good to rotate and make plays across the map with your ultimate. Spamming Q on a Flux target chains the damage to wipe out multiple enemies with the bounces. And if you drop your Q with 2 stacks, you get a juicy movement speed boost, making chasing down kills or getting away a breeze. Quick heads up, since Q is a skill shot, minions will love eating it for breakfast if you aren't careful. Pro tip, slap Flux on M first to make landing it way easier. Ryze's W, Rune Prison. deals magic damage to the target and a 50% slow for 1.5 seconds. If the target has Flux, it roots them instead of slowing. Slapping W after an E-Flux combo completely locks them down, making it super clutch against enemies with no escape. It's an absolute lifesaver against hypermobile champs and assassins trying to run you down. During skirmishes and dives, once your team initiates and goes in, drop your W to root the target. They literally have zero escape, setting up free picks for the whole squad. If you're getting run down, just drop a W to slow, M, and create some breathing room. And if they're fluxed, the root completely halts them in their tracks, letting you walk away scot-free. When to use what? If you just want to pump out max damage, sometimes skipping the root and spamming Q through the slow gives you way better DPS. But if you actually need to lock someone down, slap Flux on M for that guaranteed root. Throwing out W for no reason just wastes your root potential. Holding onto it for the exact right moment to shut someone down, that's how the high yellow players use it. Ryze's E, spell Flux, launches an orb dealing magic damage, slapping a 4-second Flux debuff on the target and anyone nearby. If they're already fluxed, it refreshes the timer and changes the spread to more targets around them. E is your bread and butter combo starter. Virtually every single good combo begins with it. Dropping an E into Q is your go-to for raw damage, while E into W locks them down with a root. Slapping E on a minion and following up with Q lets the bounce vaporize the whole wave in no time. Starting the fight, just drop an E into the cluster to get that flux spreading, then go ham on your QS for massive AoE damage. Maximizing the spread, if you hit a flux target with another E, it keeps the chain going and spreads to even more people, which is absolutely brutal if they're grouped up. And since he is basically always up, stay aggressive with it to keep that flux rolling. That's how you really dominate on Ryze. Ultimate, Realm Warp, passive, pumps up the bonus damage of Q on flux targets. Active, opens a portal to the target location. After a 2-second channel, all allies and minions in the zone get teleported, plus they get a nice movement speed buff for 2 seconds. The best part? Your basic ability cooldowns fully reset when you arrive. Warning, if you get CC'd, stuns, knockups, etc., while channeling, the whole play gets cancelled immediately. Hard shoving your wave, and then ulting down to bot or top to surprise gang, and snatch some kills is pretty much bread and butter, the most basic yet strongest way to use it. Teamfight positioning. You can drop a portal to ferry your whole team straight onto the enemy backline, or use it as an emergency escape hatch when things go south. Objective control. Use it to flank the enemy around Drake or Nasher, or to instantly pull your team together for the fight. Heads up, it has a 2-second cast time, so if you're sitting in a warded spot, the enemy will cancel it instantly. Always sweep or check vision first. Also, remember that a portal to nowhere is a wasted portal, so spam some pings to make sure your squad is actually on the same page. Ryze isn't about just throwing random spells out. It's all about spinning your QS around the flux from your E. If you make it a habit to constantly keep that E flowing, your damage output will genuinely skyrocket. Ryze always rushes Rod of Ages, RoA, as his first item, and there's a huge reason why. Ryze's passive, Arcane Mastery, is built on 2 simple rules. Stacking AP gives you extra max mana. Stacking bonus mana pumps up your spell damage. RoA gives you the ultimate package, HP, mana, and AP all wrapped into one. And on top of that, all these stats literally scale up over time as the game goes on. Basically, just rushing a single RoA gets this insane feedback loop rolling. More mana boosts your damage, which scales your AP, which loops right back into giving you even more mana. That's the ultimate game changer that sets it miles apart from just sitting on a tier. Ryze is a battle mage with a stubby 550 range, meaning he has to walk right up into danger to dish out his combos. His biggest weakness: he's super squishy early to mid-game and gets completely melted by assassins in burst. That's exactly why RoA is a lifesaver. It actually packs a solid chunk of HP to keep him alive. Extra HP means you win more trades in lane, and don't just pop to ganks. In teamfights, it lets you step up closer to the front line without instantly getting blown up, buying you precious seconds until you can click Stasis. Sure, rushing pure AP items like Death Cap first gives you insane paper damage, but you'll get deleted instantly and won't actually get any DPS off. RoA is the ultimate bread and butter item that nails that sweet spot between damage and tankiness. Ryze is the definition of a scaling monster. You play passive early and take over from the mid-game onwards. Since RoA literally scales up as the game goes on, it fits his game plan like an absolute glove. Let's break down exactly why Archangel's Staff and Seraph's Embrace is a must-buy core item for Ryze. Ryze's passive is simple. More bonus mana equals more spell damage. Archangel's Staff, Seraph's Embrace, is the perfect partner because it tanks you up with a massive mana pool, converts that mana into extra AP, gives you a clutch life-saving shield. It takes the loop we talked about. Mana equals damage, damage equals AP, AP equals more mana, and puts it into overdrive. If RoA is the foundation, Seraph's is the ultimate damage spike you need to start nuking people. Ryze is a spell spamming machine, meaning his total mana pool literally equals his DPS. Finishing Seraph's gives you a massive mana spike that visibly shoots up your Q damage. A bottomless mana pool means you can keep your combo going indefinitely in lanes and teamfights without stopping. Out of mana, moments become a thing of the past, so your damage output stays completely consistent. Other AP items like Death Cap just give you raw AP, but Seraph scales your damage straight through your mana, making it uniquely gold efficient and practically tailor-made for Ryze. Since Ryze is short range, he has to walk right into danger to spin his combos. The best part, Seraph's shield scales off your max mana, so the more mana you stack, the absolute chunkier your shield gets. This means you can completely shrug off an assassin's initial burst, play much more aggressively near the front line in teamfights without instantly getting melted. Stacking HP from RoA on top of that massive shield from Seraph's makes you ridiculously tanky. Your survivability just goes through the roof. Cosmic Drive is totally fine as a situational pickup when you need extra mobility and ability haste. But let's be real, it's never going to replace RoA or Seraph's, because those are what actually maximize Ryze's core identity, his mana scaling. Getting jumped on, you need the movement speed to stay safe. In teamfights, you want to be a dancing machine, weaving in and out to keep the DPS flowing. You've already got your RoA, Seraph's, and Death Cap core locked in. Filling that fourth or fifth slot with haste and movement speed feels amazing. Against a comp that loves to chase you down, it's your best friend for elite kiting. If you want to play it safe and smart, buying Stasis is always going to be way more reliable than Cosmic Drive. Late game is where Ryze becomes an absolute monster. Once your mana and AP are fully online, your spell spam and damage output go completely off the charts. At that point, it's all about one golden rule. How safely can you keep pumping out damage without getting yourself killed? Since Ryze has stubby range, your go-to positioning is right behind or beside the front line. You're a walking target for enemy assassins and divers, so you always need to keep an escape route open and ready. In teamfights, instead of just blowing your entire load all at once right off the bat, you'll pump out way more total damage by spreading Flux first and just spam cycling your Q. Toss out an E before the fight blows up to spread Flux. Hit multiple targets if you can. Once your team pulls the trigger, WA priority target, enemy carries, or whoever is about to run you over. Spam Q for constant damage while micro-stepping with your 2-stack movement speed buff to dodge skill shots. If their team blows up, run them down. If your team gets caught out, use your R to bail and reset. Late game Ryze isn't about one-shot burst. It's about outlasting everyone and pumping out relentless DPS. Staying alive and keeping your spell rotation spinning is the absolute best way to carry. Ryze's ULT is an absolute masterpiece on paper, but the sad reality of solo queue is that it turns into a glorified taxi service just for yourself. Getting randoms to actually click and ride your portal with you? Yeah, that happens like once in a blue moon. To chain your combos, Ryze forces you to walk right up into the danger zone with his stubby range. But once Phase Rush pops after 3 quick hits, you get that juicy movement speed buff to play absolute hidden away. You're basically darting around the team fight like a total pest, weaving in spells while dodging everything they throw at you. Late game, everyone's fully built and hitting like a truck, so trying to 1v5 hero play and mow down whole teams as Ryze just isn't happening. Things got a little chaotic right at the end there, but Mundo just ran it down like a madman and that's GG. Late game Ryze is honestly an absolute blast to play, so you guys seriously gotta try him out. Pumping out those huge, flashy damage numbers feels amazing. Alright, catch you guys in the next one. Peace!